Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 1 hour. Tensions soar in Middle East as Hamas Chief Ismail Haniyeh is assassinated in Tehran. Hamas terms it as a severe escalation, vows retaliation. Israel attacks Lebanon's capital Beirut, claims targeted strike against Hezbollah commander Mohsen Shukr. Fresh protests in Venezuela as anger grows at disputed election result. Organization of American States to hold extraordinary meeting to discuss the situation. Death toll continues to mount due to landslides in southern Indian state of Kerala. Count rises to 148 as more bodies are retrieved. Rescue operations continue. All right, big news we're tracking at DD India News Hour. Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh has been assassinated in Iran's Tehran. In a statement, Hamas mourned the death of Haniyeh, who it said was killed in a treacherous Zionist raid on his residence in Tehran. The Revolutionary Guards confirmed that the residence of Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran was struck in the morning, resulting in his and one of his bodyguards' death. Revolutionary Guards said the cause is under investigation and will be announced soon. Hamas officials termed it as a grave escalation, saying the assassination of Haniyeh will not achieve its goals. The Hamas chief attended Iran's new president's swearing-in ceremony on Tuesday. In April this year, Haniyeh's 3 sons, Hazem, Amir and Mohammed, were killed after the car they were driving in was bombed in Gaza's Al-Shati camp. 2 of Haniyeh's grandchildren were also killed in the attack and a 3rd was wounded. Ismail Haniyeh, the Hamas leader who was killed in Iran, was a tough talking face of the Palestinian group's international diplomacy. He was seen by many diplomats as a moderate compared to the more hardline members of the Iran-backed group inside Gaza. Haniyeh was an early advocate of Hamas entering politics. Appointed to the Hamas job in 2017, Haniyeh moved between Turkey and Qatar's capital Doha, escaping and enabling him to act as a negotiator in Gaza ceasefire talks. 3 of Haniyeh's sons were killed on April 10th when an Israeli airstrike struck their car. Israel regards the entire Hamas leadership as terrorists and has accused Haniyeh of continuing to pull the strings of the Hamas terror organization. Israel accused Haniyeh's leadership team of helping to divert humanitarian aid to group's military wing. However, Hamas denies it. Haniyeh had met officials in Egypt, which also has a mediation role in the ceasefire talks. He traveled in early November to Tehran to meet Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Ramesh Ramachandra joins us with more. Ramesh, good morning. Now, this is the big news we're tracking on DD India News Hour this time. Get us more details, the latest on this attack. Iran has confirmed that Haniyeh has been killed, but no further details have been given. What more can you add to it?
Right. Good morning, Preeti. Just to put this into context for our viewers, the spectacular assassination of Ismail Haniyeh took place in Iran's capital, Tehran, at about 22:30 or 2300 GMT. That's about 4 a.m. or 4:30 a.m. India time. Spectacular because, like I said, it took place in Iran's capital, Tehran, where Haniyeh was present to attend the inauguration of Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian just a few hours ago. And this, by the way, has been the first of many attempts to assassinate him. Remember, as you just said, Preeti, that his 3 sons were killed in April. His sister was killed in the month of June, just last month. And his home in Gaza was attacked in November last year. And this, by the way, Preeti, comes just a few hours after the attack on a Hezbollah commander in Lebanon's capital, Beirut. And this assassination took place in Iran's capital, Tehran. By the way, Iran is the common link here because Iran backs, supports, funds both these organizations, Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in Lebanon. And this also comes a few weeks after Israel raided in southern Gaza to target the Hamas's military chief, Sinwar, who miraculously escaped being captured there. So all in all, this is a spectacular assassination of a Hamas leader right in the heart of Iran, in Iran's capital, Tehran. And that, to my mind, raises two crucial questions. One, what will happen to the ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas, which is being mediated by the US, Qatar, and Egypt? Number one. Number two, will this escalate the escalation ladder, as it were, and raise tensions in West Asia and foment a wider regional war? It remains to be seen.
All right, Ramesh, what more can you add as to, we know that Israel has not yet taken up the responsibility. No confirmation has come in from that side. But Iran is accusing, Hamas is accusing Israel behind this attack. What more are you picking up on this first?
Right, so on the face of it, Preeti, only two confirmations have come in so far in the last several hours since the assassination took place in Tehran. One from the Hamas organization itself, and the second from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps of Iran, the so-called military wing of the Iranian clerical regime. So confirmations coming in, no doubt, but Israel, as is its habit, has not claimed responsibility yet. But insinuation by Hamas in Iran is that Israel is behind this attack. And that brings me back to my original question, Preeti. Will it escalate tensions in West Asia? How will the region and the world respond to it? And what happens to India's stake in the wider region?
All right, I'll take that forward to our guest. Mr. Atul Aneja is joining us on DD India News Hour. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us this morning. This is indeed a very important, big development that has taken place. Let us get more from you, the initial reactions, what repercussions or what immediate fallout would it witness?
Well, Preeti, as Ramesh has pointed out, this is a mark of a rapid escalation in the conflict which is going on between Israel, Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran. So this will call for a response. I'm not sure whether it's going to be an immediate response for it, but Preeti, the rules of the game have changed. So far, such big leaders at the highest level were not being targeted. But if Israel, as we suppose, is behind this, then that red line has been crossed, that rules have been changed. So which means, even from an Iranian perspective, especially since it has happened in Iran, I don't think the Iranians can keep silent about what has happened with the killing of Haniyeh. So which would mean that they would escalate definitely. What the target would be, whether it would be inside Israel, whether it be, their top people outside, that remains to be seen. But I think a retaliation will come. And if it doesn't come, then it is a big loss of face for Iran, especially, when Haniyeh is killed inside Iran. It's a big loss of face that you won't protect a key asset of yours inside your own country. So I think the ball is now in Iran's court, and it will trigger a response. What exactly, how exactly, what violent form will it take is to be seen in the next hours to come, or even days to come. But I don't see any other option for Iran but to retaliate. So the game has escalated. Now, will that mean that the region gets conflagrated? I think there's a big chance of that. Remember, Preeti, this is happening just after Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, has come back from the US.
Yes.
And I think there has been an understanding with the Biden administration that, after the attack on the football field in the Golan Heights, Israel will not go out for an all-out war or an invasion of Lebanon. But I think the green light seems to have been given to go for the big targets. And I think Haniyeh's assassination follows what has happened between Netanyahu and the Americans.
All right, we'll delve more on this point, sir, but at present, Palestinian President Abbas has strongly condemned Haniyeh's assassination. So we've got more reactions coming in. When we talk of the role of Israel here, no confirmation has so far been seen from Israel, or for that matter, Iran has been accusing Israel. You also talked of the timing of this strike, of this killing. How far does it strengthen, or how far does it change the position of Israel in the whole geopolitical setup? Does this killing make it more strong, in spite of the fact that Hamas has said that it will take revenge and it will it will not solve the purpose with which Haniyeh was killed?
Preeti, right now there have been strong anti-Netanyahu demonstrations going inside Iran. So, inside Israel. So, this particular assassination of Haniyeh may see, one thing is about the internal coalition within Israel of hardliners. I think they will cite it as a victory for them. And it will go down well with hardline sections within the Israeli society. So there's a domestic angle to it. But there is also a big risk which Israel is taking, because with the new rules of the game coming in, and capabilities which the Iranians have, they did try these missile attacks on Israel. Most of them were down, but some missiles did go through, but they were deliberately stuck at unpopulated areas. So there are options now which comes in. What happens in the Suez Canal? What will the Houthis do in terms of shipping which is going through the Red Sea? All these elements are going to come in. So Israel temporarily, at the face of it, would look strong, and Netanyahu may go down well with the domestic population or a section of it. But I think there are long-term problems which are going to come in, because this is the asymmetry which existed at one time between Israel and the rest of the country, especially Iran. That asymmetry is no longer there. There are capabilities which the Iranians have. Iranians have good ties with the Russians now. The Chinese are in somewhere in the background, so they will not come up front. So the geopolitical equations and the capabilities are no longer what they used to be earlier, when Israel would get away with something like this. So I think it's a major escalation which is taking place, and which is going to have regional repercussions.
Yes, you're talking of regional repercussions, and the situation, the consequences seem to be brewing up. Palestinian factions have called for general strike and mass demonstrations after Hamas chief was killed in Tehran. This is the latest we're picking up. Sir, I would want you to delve more for us. What role does Iran play in this geopolitical situation? Because the US and Israel accuse Tehran of having, hand in the attacks, and Iran at the same time rejects it. At the same time, I would want you to explain to us, what is Tehran's relationship with the Palestinians, and given the way these events unfold, what repercussions or what fallout again it will have on the situation?
Preeti, Iran came out as a revolutionary state with the Iranian Revolution in 1979 itself. And thereafter, as it expanded its influence in the region, it was essentially within the Shia world, which would mean the Houthis, for example, are Shias. Nearly half, 40% or more, population of Iraq is Shia. So when the US invasion of Iraq took place, that's where Iran's footprint inside Iraq increased substantially. And then they also simultaneously started reaching out with the Sunni factions. And Hamas comes into that, and most of it comes into in Lebanon. In Lebanon, again, the Hezbollah. The Lebanese Hezbollah is Shia, and in fact, the leader of Hezbollah, that is Hassan Nasrallah, actually sees Ayatollah Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, as his leader. I mean, it's completely enmeshed, the Hezbollah and the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, and of course, topped by the supreme leader of Iran. But then you also had a tangent now coming in with the Hamas, which the Iranians started developing. You had Qasem Soleimani, the Iranian head of the Al-Quds force, which was the military force operating in Syria and these geographies, who did a lot to bring the Sunni factions, that is Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood, together with the Hezbollah and with a larger Houthi, Iraqi Hezbollah, and all leadership. The fountainhead for that was Iran. So Iran's tentacles have struck very deep in the region now. And that's the reason that what we are taking is happening now is actually the tussle which is going on between Israel and Iran, with various nodes of influence which Iran has developed coming in the firing line. So this is a big game, and that's the reason why, Preeti, we think that there would be a regional fallout, because the Iranians can't keep quiet about it, because so their own credibility is on line, that they can't protect these people. Israelis, on the other hand, have penetrated Iran. And we saw that with the assassination of a number of Iranian nuclear scientists inside Iran.
Yes.
So the nodes of Mossad and Israel are very, very strongly developed, even inside Israel. So this is a monumental seismic level tussle which is going on. And Haniyeh's assassination really falls within this larger ambit of a bigger clash between Israel and the West. And then you have Iran. Iran becomes a member of the BRICS. It has closer relationship with the Russians, with the Chinese. So, it's feeding into a much, much bigger fallout. So you can actually see the world, two major conflicts, one happening in Ukraine, the other in West Asia. In some way, there is also a conflation of the two happening right now, with some common players, with the Israelis and the West on one side, and then you have Iran, Russia, China. It's all coming together in terms of a perfect storm.
All right. Yes, we will continue this conversation. But for our viewers who just joined in, this is the big breaking we are tracking this hour on DD India News Hour. Hamas Chief Ismail Haniyeh has been assassinated in Tehran, in Iran. This is the latest, the big news we are getting on DD India News Hour. Haniyeh was assassinated in Tehran, and one of Haniyeh's guard was also killed in the attack. Ismail Haniyeh was present in Tehran to attend the inauguration ceremony of Iranian president, and also the Iran government has termed this attack as a cowardly act that will not go unpunished. Palestine president has strongly condemned Haniyeh's killing. At the same time, Hamas officials term it as a severe escalation. The simmering effects can be seen immediately, with Palestinian factions calling for general strike and mass demonstrations. So this is the latest we're getting for you on the West Asia crisis. Hamas Chief Ismail Haniyeh has been assassinated. We are joined in by our correspondent Ramesh Ramachandran. We're also joined in by Mr. Atul Aneja, who are spelling out more details and helping us understand this development better. Ramesh, coming to you. Now, this assassination comes at a precarious time, in the sense because we're talking of Israel's role, we're talking of how, it has affected, it will have a bearing on Iran's credibility as well. But then Israel has previously also carried out assassination attempts on the figures key to Islamic nuclear program, as Sir also spelled out in 2020. A top military nuclear scientist, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, was killed by a remote control machine gun while traveling in a car outside Tehran. So, Sir was specifically talking of how Israel has penetrated into Iran, and this is not something new that has come, that we're witnessing today. How have Iran and Israel distanced themselves? And now, when such a development happens, what would be in, what next?
Well, Preeti, first of all, I couldn't listen to Mr. Aneja's intervention there properly, but I did catch a gist of it where he referred to a red line.
Yes.
Now, if you ask me, Israel has crossed two red lines in less than 24 hours. One, the US told Israel very clearly, do not bomb Beirut, which they did, to take out a Hezbollah commander in Lebanon, in the capital Beirut. And just a few hours ago, we have just been, as we've been reporting here, they've assassinated, targeted killing of Haniyeh in Iran's capital, Tehran. So clearly, all eyes are on how Iran will, respond from here going forward. As Mr. Aneja was pointing out, Iran can be expected to retaliate at a place and time of its choosing. We don't know how, we don't know where, we don't know when, but rest assured that Iran will most likely retaliate. And that, to my mind, raises the larger question of where does the West Asia tensions go from here? What are India's stakes in the region, and how will the region and the world react at large to developments there? And just to put this in context for our viewers, Preeti, as you were mentioning, this is not the first time Iran has been targeted by Israel. As you mentioned, the Iranian nuclear scientist Mohsen Fakhrizadeh was taken out by an Israeli strike a few years ago. It's a number of attempts targeting the nuclear installations in Iran. So clearly this could be seen as a part of a larger game plan playing itself out between Israel and Iran, which is seized as its existential threat. And its stated goal was to eradicate Hamas, and that is exactly what they are doing as we speak, taking out its top military and political leadership. And it comes just a few days, as I mentioned, Preeti, after they conducted a raid in southern Gaza to attempt to take out Yahya Sinwar, the military head of Gaza, Hamas's operations in Gaza, which they failed, but yet they had come very close to capturing him alive. So clearly this is part of a larger scheme of things playing itself out between Israel and Iran.
All right, sir, I'll take that. Ramesh, I'll take that forward to Mr. Atul Aneja. Sir, Ramesh has talked of how is, or for that matter, how is Israel positioned at this point in time? I would ask you, because Ramesh is talking of how Israel crossed two lines, Lebanon, and now the attack in Iran. At the same time, it vouched of, wiping away Hamas altogether. At the same time, he's facing Hezbollah as well. So what do you make of this, if I may call, a phoenix-like rise of Israel, at the same time tackling, multipolar challenges at the same time? This also comes at a time when Benjamin Netanyahu has just returned from the US. Put all this together, how is Israel positioned? Because that is very centric to the West Asia conflict at present.
To be honest, Preeti, Israel is playing by its old playbook. I think the rules really changed on October 7th, when 1,500 Israelis were killed by this terror attack by the Hamas. I mean, that is something which was unprecedented. So a new cycle has begun following October 7th. Now, Israel has assassinated a number of Palestinians earlier. They assassinated Sheikh Yassin, the founder of Hamas. Then Abdulaziz Rantisi, who followed Sheikh Yassin, he was killed. And then now Haniyeh is killed. But you see, one lesson, if you look at it very objectively, it's not something which buys them time, but Hamas comes back even stronger than before. So despite this assassination, I don't think that this is going to, in the long term, going to impact the Hamas. In fact, you can argue it that Haniyeh becomes another martyr if you look from a Hamas's perspective. And with Iran now, Iran was not what it used to be when, let's say, 2006, Israel's attack on Lebanon, Hezbollah. It's a much stronger country. It is much less isolated than before. It has become part of major organizations like SCO and BRICS, etc. So it's a different Iran, and Iran has strengthened itself over time. We didn't have the Houthi factor, let's say, in 2006. We have that right at the mouth of the Suez Canal, a force projection capability. So in the sense that while Israel seems to be playing the old playbook, I think there is going to be a bigger retaliation coming from Iran. And it's going to impact the entire region, including India, because this is the area from which oil supplies. Global energy security is determined by that. Trade routes pass through this area. So I think the bigger impact is coming. I would not be surprised that after this, the stock markets react, the oil prices get impacted, because now it's not what it used to be 10 years ago. The retaliatory capacity has increased. To what extent we will see? In fact, it's a test for Iran itself, whether it can impactfully retaliate to this. If it can't, it will probably prod the Hezbollah to do more from the northern side. I would be watching northern Israel-Lebanon border more intensely after this happens. And how is Israel going to respond to that? You see, now the rules have changed, as I said in the beginning. If you kill Haniyeh, then, Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, I think there's going to be some discussion going on in a very serious way inside the Hezbollah right now after this. So various kinds of, first they're going to absorb the strike, but I think sooner than later there will be a way they would have to retaliate. Otherwise, the asymmetry comes back again, that Israel,
Yes.
despite everything, is the strongest power, both military and otherwise diplomatically.
Right.
And the situation has not materially changed. So we will see. There's a lot of balls in the air right now, Preeti, and many possibilities.
Yes, so we'll have
All
to
is
wait.
really in Iran's court now.
Right. All right,
how
so
the-
we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with that analysis and those details. Thank you for joining us on DD India News Hour.
You're
All right,
welcome.
Ramesh, we were talking of the fallout of the consequences which this will have on the West Asia conflict. Now, talking of Haniyeh, the way he had a short stint as the Prime Minister of the Palestinian Authority, and then he headed Hamas. What next for Hamas here? Because, assassination of a leader will not bring in a vacuum. Somebody will take his place there. But then Hamas has vowed to take revenge of this killing, and they will come back with all the more force, as what Sir also, analyzed and predicted for us. What do you make of the talks, of the hostage crisis and the talks ahead?
Indeed, Preeti. Just to put it very quickly for our viewers, one, Hamas might be down, but not out. As you correctly said, Hamas has claimed that it will outlast this setback to it in the form of assassination of its political head, Ismail Haniyeh, in Iran. The other point, Preeti, I should quickly mention is that, as Mr. Aneja was pointing out, that India's interests are vast in the region in terms of energy supplies, Indian
Yes.
diaspora living and working in West Asia. And to my mind, I'll leave this seed of thought in our viewers' heads as well and minds, that look, India has good ties with all countries in the region, be it the Arab world, be it Iran, be it Israel. And when we talk about multi-alignment, India's stakes in the region in the context of peace building, there's a good chance India might want to play a role here as well, given its good ties, as I mentioned, with all countries in the region and outside as well. Now, that said, this will lead to two more questions which we've been reporting here for the last half an hour and more. How will these assassination affect the ceasefire talks with Hamas and Israel? And two, will it lead to further escalation? But yes, Iran can be expected to retaliate at a time, place, and location of its own choosing. When, how, where, we don't know yet.
All right, Ramesh, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with those details and that analysis and explanation. So that was our correspondent Ramesh Ramachandran putting into perspective for us how big and major is this development in Iran. And for our viewers who've just joined in, this is the big news we're tracking this hour, where in Tehran, in Iran, Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh was killed. And we also had inputs coming in from our guest, Mr. Atul Aneja, who also explained to us what could be the possible consequences. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break. We'll keep you updated and posted, but at present, we're heading for a short break. Stay with us.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's take a quick look at the top stories once again. Tensions soar in Middle East as Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh is assassinated in Tehran. Hamas terms it as a severe escalation, vows retaliation. Israel attacks Lebanon's capital Beirut, claims targeted strike against Hezbollah commander Mohsen Shukr. Fresh protests in Venezuela as anger grows at disputed election result. Organization of American States to hold extraordinary meeting to discuss the situation. Death toll continues to mount due to landslides in southern Indian state of Kerala. Count rises to 148 as more bodies are retrieved. Rescue operations continue. And yes, the big news we're tracking this hour, Hamas Chief Ismail Haniyeh has been assassinated. Up your screens very quickly, we'll get you the important pointers of this big development that is happening in West Asia. Hamas Chief Ismail Haniyeh has been assassinated and he was present in Tehran to attend the inauguration ceremony of Iranian President. And also, Haniyeh has been assassinated. He was killed in Iran's Tehran. Along with him, one of his guards was also killed in the attack. Iran, however, has said that the cowardly act will not go unpunished. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has also strongly condemned Haniyeh's killing. At the same time, Hamas officials have termed it as a severe escalation. The simmering effects are already being witnessed. Palestinian factions have called for general strike and mass demonstrations. According to sources, Iran's Supreme National Security Council, with the presence of senior commanders of the guards, convened early Wednesday to discuss the assassination of Haniyeh. The Iranian top security body will decide about its strategy in reaction. Also, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has said that he does not think the war is inevitable in Middle East. He added that if Israel is attacked, the U.S. will help defend Israel. And it will work hard to make sure we're doing things to help bring the temperature down. The Israel Defense Forces said that top Hezbollah commander Fuad Shukr was killed in the Israeli strike in southern Lebanon on Tuesday. Israeli military spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said Shukr was responsible for the death of 12 children in Majdal Shams in Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. He further said Fuad served as the right-hand man to Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah and was his advisor for wartime operations.
A targeted strike in Beirut on Fuad Shukr, also known as Said Mohsen. Fuad Shukr was the right-hand man to Hassan Nasrallah, Hezbollah's leader and his advisor in planning and directing attacks and operations. Fuad Shukr was the commander responsible for the Majdal Shams massacre in which 12 children were murdered. The IDF will not tolerate terrorist attack on Israeli civilians.
All right, those were the developments on the West Asia crisis. We'll keep you updated. Meanwhile, let's turn focus to other updates now. Venezuela is once again in political turmoil. United Nations and the United States have expressed concern, demanding an audit of the election results to end the stalemate that keeps the country in suspense. Protests nationwide have grown and hundreds of people have been arrested. DD India's Latin American correspondent Mary Trini Mena has more details on this.
The opposition gathered in Caracas and other places across Venezuela to continue their claim over Sunday's electoral results. The clashes between protesters and security forces have been repeated since the election took place. Thousands of Venezuelans have taken to the streets showing their discontent and asking for a fair recount of the votes. Venezuela's government-controlled electoral board granted Nicolas Maduro the presidency for a third term. But the opposition casted doubts, saying the figures were fraudulent. Opposition leader Maria Corina Machado says she has the tallies to prove that Edmundo Gonzalez is the real winner. So far, protests have left at least 11 people killed and more than 700 people detained, including key opposition leaders. Venezuelan government authorities have accused Maria Corina Machado and Edmundo Gonzalez of promoting a revolt aiming to revert the peace in the country. The government launched an investigation that could lead to their capture. In a written statement, the UN said that it's concerned about report of arrest. It's calling the authorities to respect the right of people to demonstrate. The Venezuelan Minister of Defense announced that a coup d'etat is on the way, promoted by right-wing leaders, while members of the Venezuelan armed forces pledge loyalty to Nicolás Maduro. But the doubts are not only inside Venezuela. The Biden administration said it's closely monitoring elections, demanding electoral authorities to release full, transparent, and detailed voting results. In Caracas, Marita Nimena reporting for DD India.
And back home, at least 148 people were killed, over 150 were injured, and several remained missing in the Indian state of Kerala's Wayanad district after days of ceaseless rains triggered a series of landslides on Tuesday. The situation remains dire, with casualties expected to rise. The army and NDRF deployed several teams to rescue people, but relief efforts were significantly hobbled by the destruction of infrastructure, continuous rain, and the swelling waters of the river, prompting forces to trek through treacherous terrain, even as 2 Indian Air Force choppers made their way to the affected areas. The series of landslides caked roughly a 10 square kilometer area in thick layers of soil and left boulders strewn across the 2 villages, even as streams of floodwaters gushed through. Kerala Chief Minister P. Vijayan took stock of the situation with officials and reviewed the search and rescue operations. The Chief Minister had announced that the State Health Department has opened a control room. Amid the calamity, Kerala is bracing for more rain as the Weather Office has issued a red alert for 8 districts, including Wayanad, and 7 neighbouring districts. 4 other districts are under an orange alert. Landslides are the worst disaster to hit Kerala since 2018, when deadly floods killed more than 400 people. The Indian Meteorological Department has predicted active monsoon conditions over most parts of West and Northwest India over the next 4 days. These states include Maharashtra, Goa, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh and others. A red alert has been issued for central region of Maharashtra till 3rd of August. Extremely heavy rainfall has been predicted for coastal and south interior Karnataka for Wednesday. The Weather Department has issued an orange alert for Konkan and Goa, West Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh till August 4. An orange alert has also been issued for Uttarakhand, Punjab, Haryana, West Uttar Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir on 31st July and 1st of August. Recent heavy downpours have caused significant disruption in Gujarat, and that has led to waterlogging and even a similar situation like floods in many places of the state. The Indian Meteorological Department has issued an orange warning for heavy rainfall in the state. A meeting was held in Gandhinagar by State Disaster Relief Commissioner on Tuesday with all the nodal officers of various departments like health, agriculture, civil infrastructure, water, irrigation to review the preparations by various departments with respect to upcoming rain predictions. Vietnamese Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh is in New Delhi on a 3-day visit to further expand bilateral strategic ties. The Vietnamese Prime Minister will hold bilateral discussions with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday. The visiting dignitary is also scheduled to call on President of India Draupadi Murmu and Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is also expected to call on the visiting Prime Minister. Ministry of External Affairs in a statement said that India considers Vietnam as a key pillar of its Act East policy and an important partner in its Indo-Pacific vision. India and Vietnam share civilizational links and a long-standing friendship based on mutual trust. This visit is expected to further strengthen comprehensive strategic partnership between India and Vietnam. Today is the martyrdom day of the great revolutionary Udham Singh. A grateful nation is remembering Udham Singh for his courage and determination to free India from colonial rule on his death anniversary today. This great revolutionary had shot Jallianwala Bagh massacre convict Michael O'Dwyer in London and took revenge for murder of thousands of his countrymen. General O'Dwyer was the former Lieutenant Governor of Punjab and was responsible for the brutal Jallianwala Bagh massacre in Punjab in 1919 that killed hundreds and wounded thousands of innocent Indians. The revolutionary freedom fighter was charged and hanged for killing General O'Dwyer at Pentonville Prison in London on July 31st, 1940. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India. Creating history, a 16-year-old girl, GRI, with autism spectrum disorder, successfully swam across the English Channel. Covering a distance of 34 kilometers in 17 hours and 25 minutes, GRI became the youngest and fastest para-swimmer in the world to achieve this feat in solo swimming. A progressive farmer from Jammu and Kashmir is setting an example after doing hybrid seedless cucumber cultivation. 17th edition of India's biggest mango event is being held in the national capital. The event celebrates the king of fruits with delightful showcase of diverse varieties and flavors. 14 artists from India's northeastern state of Tripura displayed their creativity at 46th session of the World Heritage Committee in Delhi. Falling in line with the Project Pari or Public Art of India, the artists painted murals and came up with different artwork on the theme of UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the country. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, Bank of Japan raises interest rates and projects inflation to stay around its 2% target in the coming years. We get you a quick roundup of how India's players shine bright at Paris Olympics.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, DC.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's take a look at updates coming in from the world of business now. The Bank of Japan raised interest rates on Wednesday and projected inflation to stay around its 2% target in the coming years. At the two-day policy meeting, the central bank also laid out a detailed quantitative tightening plan that will reduce monthly bond buying in several stages to around 3 trillion yen or $19.6 billion as of January to March 2026. The bank's decision comes hours before that of the Fed, which is likely to hold rates steady before cutting rates as soon as September. On Tuesday, Chairperson of the Securities and Exchange Board of India, Madhavi Puri, launched a report on Indian capital markets, that is transformative shifts achieved through technology and reforms. She also unveiled India's first website for passive funds at the NSE. At the launch, SEBI chairperson credited the transformation and growth of India's capital markets to a collective vision for a resilient, progressive and tech-driven ecosystem that offers access, information and protection for investors. The website provides in-depth information on aggregate industry data, fund-wise data, screeners for selecting funds based on various parameters such as underlying index, AUM, tracking error, among others.
for the stock market as well. Right now already we have a certain automatic pop-up which comes when investor goes and selects a particular stock or symbol. Then certain surveillance related facts and figures of that stock are displayed as a pop-up. We are looking to enrich that, and I think there are 6 or 7 additional fields which we believe are valuable fields for the investor to be able to make up his mind about whether he should proceed with that transaction. So the qualified stockbrokers, which as you know cover about 70% of all retail investors, they would be mandated to display that enriched pop-up so that further information, both in terms of the facts and market metrics like price to earnings ratio, etc., is displayed to them.
All right, from business to sports updates now, we get you all the updates from Paris Olympics. All right, let's talk of day 5. Narayan will be joining us to get us more. But before that, it is a big day for India in badminton on Wednesday as Lakshya Sen, HS Pranoy and PV Sindhu will play do-or-die group stage matches. Focus will also be on star boxers Lavlina Borgohain and Nishan Dev. TD India's Narayan Singh gets us more on day 5.
On 5th day of the Paris Olympics, all eyes will be on Lavlina Borgohain, the bronze medalist from the Tokyo Games, as she kicks off her campaign at the North Paris Arena. Joining her is another promising boxer, Nishan Dev. I'm talking about badminton. Badminton enthusiasts will be thrilled to watch top shuttlers PV Sindhu, Lakshya Sen and HS Pranoy in their crucial final group stage matches. We talk about table tennis. Manika Batra, who made history as first Indian paddler to reach round of 16, will continue her women's singles journey. And Srija Kula too will be back in action in the round of 32 following a brief break. And in Kusturi, Anush Agarwala, a 2022 Asian Games medalist, will begin his campaign. And meanwhile, seasoned archer Deepika Kumari and Tarundeep Rai are set to commence their individual quests in the archery events. And shooting, Ashra Pratap Singh, Tomar and Swapnil Khosle will compete in the men's 50-meter rifle 3-position qualification round at Shatru Shooting Center, continuing India's strong showing in the sports. And women's track final stands at the sole medal event for India today. However, prospects appear slim for Suyasi Singh and Rajeshwari Kumari after their performance in the first day of qualification.
All right, DD India's correspondent Narayan Singh is joining us from Paris. Narayan, good morning. It was a great day for India on day 4 at Paris. Manu Bhakar's unprecedented achievement took the spotlight. Very quickly sum up day 4 for us.
Watershed Indian sporting history, the kind of performance by our shooters. Manu Bhakar became the first shooter, first athlete in the independent India to win 2 medals in a single edition of the games. She, along with Sarabjot Singh, won bronze medal in the mixed team event of the 10-meter air pistol event. So we can say that it is an historic achievement for the shooting and also for the Indian sports, and we can call it that it will just act as a catalyst in the performance of the other athletes also, and it will bring positivity in the Indian camp also. And we are hoping that this double delight will help the other athletes to boost their campaign. And when in the other sports, especially we talk about the badminton, in table tennis, when our players move to the next round, definitely they will also be a medal contender for India. But talking about shooting, it's an extraordinary thing, and in the past few years we have just witnessed the kind of performance our shooters have delivered, and we are hoping that this kind of performance will continue in shooting in the coming days. If we talk about in the male shooting, we have Aishwarya is there, Vijay Veer Sidhu is there, and many more names are there. They are also capable to win medals for India, and especially Swift-Core Samra, she has done exceptionally well in the recent past. So we are hoping that all these shooters can do exceptionally well, and at least 3-4 medals we are expecting from shooting. And if shooting is doing well, definitely India can here add a rich haul of medal in the Paris Games.
All right, Narayan, India is also actively taking up sports, and many new young athletes are coming up and showcasing their talent on the global platform. How do you see this rise?
In the past few years, we witnessed a stupendous rise in the Indian sports, whether if you talk about the Commonwealth Games, Asian Games, everywhere, even the Para-Asian Games, our athletes has done exceptionally well. They've won record number of medals in the Commonwealth Games, in Asian Games, and Para-Asian Games. So it's all, we can say that a combination of work done by our athletes. They are working hard. They are, we can say, they are very, we can say, dedicated to their training. And if we talk about from the government side, they are getting world-class excellent facilities. If we talk about the infrastructure, we have a world-class shooting range in Delhi, in Bhopal, and if we talk about the other facilities, we in all sports, the SAI is doing exceptionally well. Through top scheme, they are getting foreign exposure. We have a team of the doctors who are continuously monitoring our athletes. We have the best medical sports medicine doctors. So all in all, the government side also, from the athlete side also, there is a, we can say that combined effort from all the sides. And in the past, we used to see that the sports training and camps used to be very sporadic, but now there is a 365-day plan for athletes, and there are facilities in the stadiums. They can visit any stadium according to their convenience, and the government is allowing them, financing them. The scheme like Hello India and TOPS are helping them. So all in all, when we talk to athletes, they say that whatever they are asking from the government, from the sports ministry, their needs are instantly fulfilled. So when such kind of environment is there, so that's why we are getting such result. All in all, a fantastic performance by our athletes here at the Paris Games, and definitely when the tournament, when the Olympic Games will progress in the different events, we will witness more medals. When track and field events will start, there also we will get medals, and especially from Satvik Sairaj and Chirag Shetty, who are the one of the best medal contenders for India. We are hoping that they will win a gold medal for India. So all in all, it is a fantastic journey for the Indian athletes, and in the coming days, we will see more medals from our team.
All right, Narayan, thank you for joining in with those details. And Paris Olympics organizers confirmed that triathlon events will go ahead on Wednesday after the latest Seine River water test showed lower levels of bacteria. The men's triathlon at the Olympics was called off on Tuesday as pollution levels in the Seine remain too high. It will be held immediately after the women's event today. Earlier, organizers were confident that water quality would improve in time for the race after heavy rains on July 26 and July 27 dirtied the river. That's it in this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. And you can download the respective QR codes on the screen to download DD India mobile app. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.